Randy Feltface joins us now. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. How are you, Isaac?
Very well, Randy.
Yep.
Congratulations on being the first puppet here on the show.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I would have worn something more suitable had I known. I would have suited up, put on some sort of tuxedo if I
No,
knew it was a first. You've never had anyone of my ilk on the show before.
no, well, we actually reached out to Kermit, but he was unavailable, so we've resorted
He's
to
hard to
you.
book.
He is very hard to get.
I am much easier to get hold of. You
Yes,
can email me directly from my website.
brilliant.
Kermit, team of people,
Oh,
entourage to get through.
yeah, just a single man, Randy.
Yep, here
Yeah.
I am,
All
loser.
right. Let's talk about your latest show. This one's called First Banana. Now, it's all about humanity and how it's been on a downward spiral since the first banana. I'm fascinated with how your mind works, Randy. What inspired you to take on this theme?
Look, around 10,000 years ago, humankind fell off the rails
Yep.
and haven't really got it back since. And that just happened to coincide with the appearance of the first banana in the
Right.
jungles of Southeast Asia. And in this show,
Hmm.
I craftily link the two
Uh-huh.
and then just dish 58 minutes of banana facts.
Brilliant.
It is not only entertaining, but also educational. But I strongly suggest that you don't necessarily take any of the facts into the classroom and try to teach your students. Say you be a lecturer on bananas, for example. Do
Yep.
your own research,
All right.
look into it.
Mhm.
I'm the Facebook of facts. I bend them to suit my own purposes, Isaac.
Huh.
Isaac Henry with an I,
An
no
I,
less.
yes. Not a Y with an I.
No, out there, just winging it with an eye. I respect that.
Killing it. Now, Randy, I love all your stand-up specials.
Do you though? Do
Yes,
you really?
yes, I
Have
really
you
do.
watched
I
all
have
of
watched
them?
all of them, Randy. They're
Oh,
fantastic.
gosh.
I'm a
Thank you
mega
so
fan.
much. That's
Now,
very exciting for me. I'm glad that you viewed the things.
yes, they're everywhere. They're all over the internet.
I just thought
Um,
I'd leave a pregnant pause there. I think pauses work best on radio. I could have
mhm.
said something. I could have slipped in some sort of humorous anecdote, but you
But
probably just would have cut it out for
yeah,
time. So I
no,
just
just
thought, you know
hit
what?
me
I'm
with the
just going
pause.
to just a bus driving through sized pause. Isaac Henry, go ask me
Um,
a question.
Yes. So, talking about your stand-up shows, my favorite part, of course, is your crazy crowd work. One of my standout favorites is when you were getting CPR from an audience member. Now, I know
Mm.
some comedians they say crowd work is quite risky because it really depends on the audience's energy. So, I want to hear from you, Randy. What's your strategy for handling a quiet or maybe an unresponsive crowd during a show?
Well, look, firstly, to address the crowd work thing, I've always done crowd work. It's
Mm.
always been a thing that I enjoyed doing since I first started, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And it's a great way to inject energy into the set. I usually do about 5 minutes per show. If something really interesting happens, like the CPR one is a good example. The guy in the front row said that day he attended a CPR lesson. So I
Mm.
was like, get on stage and give me mouth to mouth resuscitation.
Yep.
And
So I'll
then
let you
that's
know.
just fun. Yeah, and I film them. I don't film all of my shows, but I shoot a lot of the shows on the road. And if something fun happens, it allows me to promote the tour while I'm on the tour without burning any of the material from the actual show.
Yep.
But I think, as far as handling a quiet crowd goes, if I feel like a crowd needs a bit of an energy injection, sometimes I'll talk to someone in the audience to try to get try to deflect the show in a different direction. But
Mm.
to be honest, if I'm not coming out and captivating the audience within the first 20 minutes of the show before I even get to the crowd work, we're all in serious trouble. So I tend to like stack the top of the show with some jokes. And then the
Right.
crowd work's just a bit of fun for me, really. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it works well enough to then put on the internet, who am I to stand in the way of
Yeah.
the movement of comedy in the direction of posting crowd work? I also write my jokes. I'm not just up
Yep.
there making shit up for an hour. I do craft the stuff and it's written in such a way that then I try it out on the road and see if it works. But yeah, crowd work,
Mhm.
always a fun time.
Always good. Now, Randy,
Not always good. Not
not
always
always
good.
good.
There's
Have
a
you had
difference
a bad
between
experience?
always a fun time and not always. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't want to talk to you. Sometimes someone will say something, and I might be in a particularly bad mood that night,
Mm.
and I might have to sort of take them apart a little bit
Yeah.
psychologically in front of a room full of people. But mostly, it's an absolute treat, but not always good. That's up to me. If I'm tired
Yeah.
and fatigued, and I start talking to someone and they give me nothing, you know, I'm human
Mm.
ish.
Yeah, because I know you struggle with seeing people. So maybe they don't know
Yeah,
they're looking at you or you're looking at them.
mm,
How does that all
yeah.
work?
I just look in a general direction and say hello there. What's your name? And wait for someone to respond
Just need a
because
response.
I have terrible, terrible eyesight. It's a
Mm-hmm.
curse of having not real eyeballs. Next
Yeah.
question,
Next
Isaac.
question. All right. What have we got next? I want to talk about when I was first introduced to your work. It's going back a long time ago now. Good News World. I think what was that?
Oh, wow.
2010. So quite a while.
2011, I think that was.
2011. Yes. With your good mate Sammy J. Obviously, you two
Mm-hmm.
have such a brilliant, brilliant dynamic. I do want to get your thoughts on this though. What do you think made your duo resonate so strongly with audiences?
Oh, I have no idea. I mean, I think Sammy and I always have just tried to make each other laugh, and most of the time that works for the people who are watching us. And I think that we were just weird looking enough and hardworking enough to have appeared at a moment where there was a perfect gap in the market for a skinny man puppet musical comedy duo.
Hmm.
And yeah, we took that mantle for a few years there. It was a good time. Sammy J actually is doing his new show, The Kangaroo
Kangaroos.
Effect.
Yes. Is that here at the Fringe?
Yes, you've got to go and see it. I saw it. I saw the trial show. I saw him
Mhm.
testing it out and it's a magnificent show. Go check it out. Go see
I'm
Sammy.
gonna go check it out for sure.
Heckle
Um,
him. See what he
Heckling.
does with it.
Where's
Mm.
Randy? Where's Randy?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
boo. Bring back the puppet. Boo.
We
Yeah.
want the puppet.
He loves that. He loves that.
Now, do you want to talk about writing material? I want to know what your process is like for developing fresh jokes and creating that perfect punchline. How do you go about that?
Mm. Well, say I just sort of do it differently. Say, for example, with this show, I had the idea that that bananas ruined the world, and then I read a lot about bananas and researched the history of bananas and the way they work and all sorts of stuff. And then I sat down and I just started writing from that place. And then once you have kind of a script, then I just go back and I just constantly pump jokes into it, as many as I can, and then it's up to the audience to decide what's funny or not.
Mhm.
So as far as crafting the perfect punchline, it's rare that I'll write something on the page and then say it on stage and then it stays unedited for the duration of, the lifespan of a show.
Yeah.
Usually I'll try stuff out and then I'll tweak it once it gets in front of a crowd. This show has changed so much over the
Mhm.
course of the tour. I started this tour in America in February or March 2024.
Yep.
And I toured it all across the States and all across Europe and all across the United Kingdom. And then I'm going back to America to do another 3 months on the road before I come to Australia and New Zealand. So by the time it gets to Australia, like I think I've got between now and Adelaide, I want to say I've probably got about 70, 70 shows between now
70
and when I get there.
shows.
So 70 more times to rehearse it before the good. Actually, probably more than that. I'd say 75. Let's say 75 shows before I get there. So strap in, Adelaide. I've got
Yeah.
75 times to get it right before I get there. To hit the Madge, I'm doing the Madge.
No, I'm sure you'll be great,
You know
Randy.
where
We can't wait to have you down here.
I've never done a show there. I'm excited.
Excellent. Now, obviously, you've performed in many different countries and venues right around the world. I do want to know, though, what's been the most challenging aspect of adapting your comedy for international audiences? Does America get us, the Aussie humor?
Yeah, well, I think I started. Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. I think it's more about the energy in the room. Americans are very enthusiastic. Australians are a little bit more reserved sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and not always. Depends on which city you're in. But I don't really change my material from place to place. I used to a lot more, but now I kind of write. I try to write a little bit more universal to save me having to rewrite stuff. But I love touring in Australia. I'm very excited about finishing this show in Australia, actually, to see what the Australians think of this show, because it's gone pretty well in America and the UK particularly. So we'll see. Well, I'll tell you, you know what?
We'll
We'll check
see.
in after this, and I'll
Well,
give you a at the end of the tour. We'll talk
yeah,
again, and I will answer that question honestly in relation to this show. Because I can
excellent.
only talk about the present moment, Isaac Henry. The
Right.
past is gone from my mind. I remember nothing. Nothing.
Of course, you've written some brilliant
Good
jokes.
luck editing this into a tight, punchy, beautifully crafted afternoon radio interview. I'm
Oh, no,
I'm rambling at you. I'm so sorry.
it's going to be a challenge, but I'm willing to give it a go. So,
How long is it going to be once you get to air?
I don't know how long we're going to keep talking. How many questions I got? I got another one coming
Is
up.
this live,
No, no,
Isaac
no,
Henry?
no, no, no. This is all pre-recorded.
Mate, you got to carve me up, make me sound more interesting. Make sure you keep this bit in. This is the best bit of the
That's the bit.
interview.
Yes, this
We've
is
got meta.
the profesh bit.
Yep.
Now you've written some brilliant jokes throughout your career. Has there ever been a joke that's sort of caught you off guard with its reaction? Maybe one that's even led you into some hot water.
Never. I've
Never?
never had a joke lead me into hot water. No.
Wow. Lucky comedian
I've
you.
never got in trouble for anything I've
Huh.
ever said on stage.
That's
Yep.
amazing.
Is it?
Are you
I think that
planning
would
on
be the
saying
case
something?
of no, I think I think if you ask that question to the majority of comedians, they
Mm.
would say, no, everything I just say my jokes, people laugh and we all move on. I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever had anyone
No
I
backlash?
mean, I'm sure there are people who are offended by some of
Yeah.
the stuff I say,
There's
but
always one
none of
person.
them have ever approached me and said, Randy, you disgust me. But I'm waiting for it. I'm working on it. I'll keep working on it.
Could be coming. You don't know. Any day. Maybe the Americans. Maybe they'll have something to say.
Yeah, well, look,
Mm.
who knows? Times have changed since last I was in America, so you
Yeah.
never know.
Oh, yes. Who's in power now?
3 months ago. Yeah, it was different back then. Anyway, we're not going there. You're
Oh,
trying to
let's not
lead
do
me
that.
into some sort of cancellation. I love all
Right.
of my American fans, all of them on both sides of the aisle.
Excellent. We can catch Randy Feltface touring the country with his first banana tour. Tickets are available at feltface.com. Randy, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute treat. I'm sorry I've given you a nightmare in the edit. Good
No, no,
luck
no.
with that.
Oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to listen back.
Woo!
I'm going to laugh.
We did it. We did
Excellent.
it. I
Too
love you,
good.
Adelaide.